Welcome back, brave souls.
Yeah.
Composition. Tonight's the night of the 12. This is the prize. Does anybody already know all 12? Because I hit you with a couple of them ahead of time last time. Okay. I will go over them again. What's the first rule? There's an exception to every rule. And what else? Variety. Don't kiss the edge. Even numbers are odd. Odd numbers. Think about dominance. And I would say in tonight's painting, the dominance is the palm tree. Crop. This is cropped on the edge a little bit and cropped on the top here. Think in thirds, like a tic-tac-toe. And this is roughly a third. The little boy is at the intersection of the tic-tac-toe right here. Okay. What else?
Kind of like work off center, don't we have anything?
Avoid the center. Yep. He's shoved that a little bit to the right of center. Okay. And then last time we talked about a little bit, I got sidetracked, but we talked about overlapping. Overlapping is something that is really beneficial. Somebody did that with their glass bottles. And back up and look at the hole, which is why I encourage you to frequently get up and walk around. And then the two that I laid on you ahead of time last week were poles or trees coming out of heads is a no-no. Don't have other unfortunate lineups. And directional line or diagonals. And what that means is the way your eye follows, like this line in the picture, points you right down to the boy. And this line points you right up so that your eye keeps making a circle. And this takes you over here, and the flowers take you down and through the picture. So directional line is just thinking about the way that your eye moves through the picture based on the elements that are in the picture. Are you getting me, Doug?
Yes.
Okay. See this one here? This one is pulling your eye over here so you don't miss these things in the picture. So there's a lot of directional lines in this example. Okay. So directional line. So does anybody think they know all 12 right now?
I haven't written down. I think I got 5 of them.
I would say most of them, but not all of them. I mean, every single one.
Well, learn it before the end of class. I'm going to ask for a volunteer that wants to take this book home. It's really good. Okay, so this is my commercial moment. I'm going to look at it sideways. This is going to be on June 18, a paint and canvas, cookies and canvas day called The One That Got Away, right?
That's what I call it.
So it should be really fun. But don't forget about the one, the Army Boots picture that's on May 28. That should be really good. Please sign up for that so that I'm not sitting here alone on Memorial Day weekend. Okay.
This was the board I was telling you about.
Uh-huh.
You have the duct tape around it so you can put your masking tape on to hold your picture.
Uh-huh.
And then if you're doing a small picture, you have separating.
Would you mind bringing that up, Jim?
I'd like to see this. I got this about 6 years ago. And I use it for most of my paintings.
Feels like foam core or mat board or something. Jim brought in his painting board and his practice piece. Look at what a beautiful start he's got on this. You know, that could be good just the way it is right now, Jim. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Didn't he do good?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the back side for smaller pictures, duct taped off. And thank you very much for bringing that in.
Duct tape, a little strong, and the masking tape comes off easily.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what that board was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It feels almost like a foam core board, but yet not. So I don't know. Okay, so, and I have taped off the edges of my piece just because I want a nice white border when we're done, so I can see at that point if I have any changes to make. And you can tell my drawing is kind of sketchy. I've just put in the main lines. Doug, are you doing this drawing right now?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to make sure that this line angles upward a little bit. And then there's quite an angle, a greater angle here for perspective. And that directional line is taking your eye to the boy too. You see how that works? Okay. And these directionals draw you up into the palm tree. So anyway, that's about all the detail you need. I did not put in like facial features or anything on this boy because really you don't see them. It's just some dark shapes. And I didn't put in all the detail that you see, anywhere near the detail that you see in this. I've just got the main arcing lines of the palm, a few reminders about these coconuts. I put in my flowers because I want to make sure I have the right number of flowers in roughly the right places, but I did not draw them in detail because I'm going to paint them kind of loosely. The main cloud shapes, I have a cloud shape here, here, and then this one up here. And that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the background and leave the white. That's going to be really important. I'm going to get into my cerulean blue and work from the top down. My cerulean blue is kind of right close to some of the cobalt blue, so it's kind of mixing a little bit on this very small paper plate. And I have my cotton balls handy. If you don't have cotton balls, get paper towel. And when I come down to those cloud shapes, I'm going to paint right around them.
So far, I've used about 8 colors on it. So,
Uh-huh.
and the flesh color, something different as well.
Yeah. And then I'm careful to paint around this white cloud over here, and it comes down into the palm.
What color blue was that?
Cerulean. And it's kind of mixed. It's right next to my cobalt, so it's getting a little bit of cobalt mixed in with it. Now, I am seeing a pale, pale blue on this gate. So I'm going to just put a little more water in my paint. And paint down this gate.
I saw that as a dark gray.
It could be a Payne's gray. There's some colors that it's kind of hard to just determine what's actually going on where. And I'm not worried about creating an exact Winslow Homer. I'm after the idea of Winslow Homer and the essence of Winslow Homer. But if you can try to do it as accurately as you want. I know Jim's going to have a lot more tighter piece than me just because that's his style. But however you want to do it, keeps him out of trouble. There you go. So there's my gate, which I'm going to paint around with darker colors after it dries. But that just allows me to establish the base. And I think the next thing I'll do is put in my flowers, which the scarlet would work nice. I'm going to mix a little scarlet and rose together, which is going to make it a little more pink than what Homer has, but that's okay with me. And then, oops, that's too big a brush. Use the small brush like you guys have. And I'm going to copy the shapes of the flowers. I've got to get a Q-tip and lift some of that out. It went a little bit heavy. And there's a little one hiding back in the green here. And one over here. And I'm not being too particular with the shapes. I'm just getting a loose flower type shape. There's a little bit of skipping red there. Another one here. Because I want those to dry before I get in there with the green. That's why I went to those next. I see this blue down in here. I'm going to lay some of that in there too. And there's some blue shadow. I'm seeing a lot of the Payne's Gray, if I can find that on my palette. There we go. It's a Payne's Gray for these palm fronds over here. And I'm going to go to those next because they're not touching anything that's already wet on my palette. So this is the Payne's Gray with a little bit of blue. Just light strokes, arcing around. And I see a little bit of green coming into that Payne's Gray area. So I'm going to just mix together several different greens. And then I see a kind of a yellow green down to the bottom. That's probably your yellow ochre. If you can find your yellow ochre on your palette. I'm talking about this area right here. And then I'm going to try to find my Viridian. Viridian mixed with maybe some sap green for this area right here. And this goes up to the boy, but painting carefully around his white shirt. And I'm just kind of bounce my brush a little bit so that I can go back in with a yellow green and paint in a little yellow green too. Susie made cookies, you guys. I don't know if I already said that, but she made some really yummy cookies. So when you need to take a break, you can enjoy.
Who made them?
Susie.
But they have trash. That was very nice.
Very nice. And then some of the, I believe it's vermilion with a lot of water in it, goes right here. And some of the vermilion will create this path down here too. Whoops, that's much too dark. Notice that green is kind of fuzzing out into it. I kind of like that. I'm going to leave that. And then there's some green with a little bit of yellow in it over here in this side of the path. And it has little spots of the vermilion showing in it. And then a darker green. Kind of dotted through it. Meanwhile, my flowers are drying over here.
What were the two rules that you said tonight?
Two rules tonight were directional line
Okay.
and don't have poles or trees growing out of heads or other unfortunate lineups. And a bonus one you could throw in there in case you forget any of the other 12 is that diagonals really help. And you see a very strong diagonal here, very strong diagonal here, diagonal here. Diagonals really activate a picture. And I'm going back to my Payne's Gray for this area over here, mixing it with a little bit of a lighter blue. Oops, I gotta have more dark paint. And I know I don't see any green in the picture, but I want some green down here. By all means, leave the wall white until the very end, the wall and the clouds. There is a kind of a pale blue wash over it, but that'll be like one of the last things that we'll put in.
What color are you using for that, like, sandy area in front of the fence?
This, I believe, was vermilion, washed down. And I see this area right here going up the side of the wall. I'm gonna mix vermilion and Payne's gray for that. And that's what this is. I'm gonna use that vermilion Payne's gray to put a little bit of the detail into this gate too. When you get to that point, it's a good idea to get up, let it set for a minute and see how your neighbors are doing.
The gray one, the top, you come down to the hinge, and something about it, you let go, and it looked like it should snap back into place. I couldn't get it to snap back into place, so brought that one to snap.
Oh,
That's a nice one. That one's less heavy.
It is less heavy, but I'm gonna go look for something that's not.
Double check concealer.
I need to see if I can see a far look at one of these.
Oh,
I like that set.
that's really nice.
It's a mess. Oh, that's why it's working.
Did you paint your sweatshirts?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Parts of it?
Like, maybe here, over. When I did my nighthawk one, I left the peep out. And I mostly got just a cat bag in the straw. It goes on that way for a little bit, but I think it was kind of small, so I just did the cat bag.
Oh.
I'm mixing a light yellow green to start my palms. And I'm gonna layer over it with a darker after this is dry.
Put in the trunk of the palm tree?
I did. I didn't do anything with it yet. I left it right there. But I drew it in. There's some yellow-green plant life here out to the end, and it's just kind of little blotches of green. And then a darker green, which I'm going into some Viridian and Payne's gray for these little plant-like forms here. And there's a palm, and again this is Viridian mixed with Payne's gray. A little bitty palm here in the far distance. I'm doing the green above the wall. Green, and it goes into the Payne's gray and cobalt mixture. And that goes all the way over to the gate. And there's some, there's like a little window in this gate of that dark blue too. It's kind of splotchy undergrowth here. As it fades into a green on this side. Notice I'm leaving little tiny spots of white here, which you don't see in the painting. That's just me adding to it. Gonna paint around my coconuts.
On your laptop screen.
Uh-oh. Ah, baby. Go
Oh,
get Amy?
wait, no, yeah. Maybe.
Go get her.
I don't know what it is.
Hopefully
Get
you won't do that again.
Huh?
Hopefully you won't do that again.
I have to go darker in my green. Now I'm getting into the area around the flowers, and I'm going to paint around the flowers.
I think I need a taller chair. If I could clear off the dining room table so I could spread out all my paint stuff. Because why are you painting in the office? I said it's more comfortable in this chair. Yeah, and it is. I like the dining room, but. Better than
Is she an artist also?
no, she does draw very well. My daughter could cut. Her talent lies in her musical ability.
Oh, okay.
Plays the cello.
Oh, that's cool.
My daughter.
There's some very dark greens here on top of the gate. And that's, again, Viridian with a little bit of Payne's gray in it.
What green do you recommend for the dark green?
I'm going Viridian mixed with Payne's gray.
Meridian?
Yeah. But the Hooker's green would work too.
I just pulled out, Hooker's green, because it looked like it was the darkest green on there.
Uh-huh. That works.
I think I might have to sort of like layer that.
Uh-huh.
Put a couple coats on there.
Now, there's palm fronds here, so I'm gonna kind of leave space around for the palm fronds. Does that make sense? And there's some palm fronds up above too. I got a little yellow coconut right here I'm gonna paint around. I try to paint, you might have noticed, just painting throughout the picture, not just starting in one corner, but kind of bouncing around so that my color is consistent throughout the piece.
Yeah. Do you recall, I remember forever ago when I took a class, it said sometimes it helps if you turn a master's work upside down and work.
Oh yeah, that works good.
Yeah, because that seems to help many times when I'm struggling. 'Cause to me, like, there's so much to this.
Yeah. Just light strokes for the palm branches. I'm gonna go back into the yellow green and put some of my, the branches in the middle of the tree. And my coconuts, those coconuts in there. Just kind of dabbing around for the coconuts. And there's some up here too. And over here. And then some branches. Branches going upward. If you haven't had a cookie, get up and walk around.
I don't know what caused those cookies to left. I'm still on it.
I see some really darks coming up into this area around the coconuts. Now that this light green is dry, I'm gonna go back with my dark green and layer the bottom part of the palm branches with the Payne's Gray and Viridian combo again.
I'll send you a copy of the picture when I'm done. It won't be this one. But I'll send it.
Now.
A couple times I had to do that because it just didn't come out right, so
Yeah.
I just take it and I learn from it, and then I go do it again.
Well, what you sent, yeah.
Yeah. Girl with the pearl earring,
Yeah.
that was like attempt number 2 or 3.
Wow.
Still not happy.
Really?
I like that. Is this being videotaped?
Yes. I'm also looking for areas of lights and darks when I paint, and I see a dark area up here that I've got to get more darks going in.
Sky seems darker behind the tree.
Yeah. It's pretty dense undergrowth kind of stuff going on in there. Oh my goodness, I'm running out of time. Wow. I'm going to put in the dark shapes, which are the face, the head and arms of the boy. And the legs. Just kind of loose, not trying to do detail. Going to use a pale Viridian wash on this palm trunk. A little bit throughout here. Not Viridian, I said Viridian, I meant Vermilion, I'm sorry. And I'm gonna try to put in a pale blue wash on the wall. There's just little spots, like little imperfections in the wall and little vegetation down here. I'm gonna get up and walk away from it, see how you guys are doing in a minute. Good idea to get up and take a break before you push for the finish. Your palm tree is graceful. No, I think it's graceful.
Oh.
I like the colors in yours.
Oh.
This is hard. This is very hard.
Scarlet. Well, you're
Oh,
Scarlet.
yeah.
Better than my Scarlet. You were using red for the flowers, but.
Right, yeah, that would make it tricky or something. That's for sure, when you're like, you're trying to follow along, I quite agree with you. Yes,
Yeah, I put a little.
yeah, cause I got my own, obviously, so. I didn't even know it was box, someone had given it to me, and it was like in the box that I brought.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I did too.
Oh,
And then I mixed, I forgot what I did, shadows. Just slow.
Oh, wow. Don't even tell me.
you just need more time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, this is all of it. And then what I wondered about,
I spend
why is
a day.
this thing? Yeah, maybe it's just, yeah, but yeah, they have to do from thrift store for me. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I was quite pleased, I brought it because I wasn't sure what there was in the, because I had never done this type.
Well, it'll work. You won't get the magic of this one, but
I'll keep looking and see if I can find questions on this.
if you can't get the Daily Rounding process, cyan, that'll work.
That's really,
And then have a question.
because that's what you would think, like what you did is what you would think, yeah, because this like, this to me doesn't look like oil. Does it?
No, I think that's, oil.
Yeah.
The thing about oil and watercolor is that it's difficult and impossible to
That's
get the same color.
Yeah, the thing, yeah.
When I was doing poetry early Sunday morning, I had a copy of the picture. And I had sheets like this, and I'm mixing my colors, not using full sight to it. But I think it's impossible to get the same vividness of the oils or acrylic.
Right, yeah, because even like if you look at even the prints of this, I mean, there's no white spot, that's why I was so confused of what to do, because you don't see like the weight of the paper in here. Right, you see like it's oil.
You have a soft touch.
And so that's why I was like, stumped, what to do, where to start versus being watched.
I'll guarantee you, Tom,
You can layer over it too.
but Yeah, you know, difficult to match.
Right,
I would just.
yeah, there you go, yeah.
Okay.
So,
I have the Edward Hopkins picture of I took this picture off the internet because it came out. I took it out of the book.
yeah.
And it just so. But the building in that picture, I think it's the same building in the background.
You know, because they sell the print of this like for $144 Yeah, a print of the internet. And it's actually in real life, it's not that much bigger than, you know, it's actually just a tiny, I mean, the dimensions, it does state it on what it was the original. When they did, but you know, it wasn't that big. It was probably a little bit bigger than this.
Okay, one thing that stands out to me as I come back to this is that my wall needs more dots in.
Size canvas feet. And so you can't get the same detail you can get.
Dots, just little dots of color.
That's for work, that's about some, the work I've done before. I guess I've ever done the project. I'm like.
I'm going to peel off my tape on the sides because that will let me see also where I might want to go darker. Does anybody want to try to tell me all 12 composition rules?
Yeah, I will try, okay.
Go for it, Shelley.
Okay, variety of, break the rules, okay, I'm gonna maybe not go in order. Cropping, dominance, okay, that's 4. Odd numbers, okay, do not try to focus on the center. Okay, work in thirds, let's see, directionals, diagonals, yeah, that's what.
That's 8.
Let's see, yeah, you said cropping.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and, yeah, those are the ones I can write off the top of my head. Yes.
Got 8 of them. Anybody want to give her a run for the money?
Can you name them all?
Take a look at your list again, Shelley. We'll try again in a minute.
Okay.
Anybody else want to go for it?
You have a cheat sheet though.
How many can you tell me from the top of your head?
Top of your head, come on, that's only fair.
Elena, you want to try? No? Okay, see how nice it looks almost matted after you peel away the tape on the edges?
Yeah.
I'm going to call that good for now. I could fuss with it another few hours, but I'm okay with that. Hope you guys have had fun. I've had fun with you these last 6 weeks, and I hope I see you again at another class.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.